Hi-fi, sci-fi, alien women's Starith transport hummed against the high desert night. Lights soft, engines calm, and inside sat Lily, Megan, Claire, and Nora, for women who had signed on to tow a derelict that fell from a pale orbit. They joked in low voices. They checked harness straps. They wore the quiet grit of people who fix things when they break. And they were proud of Ethi, had hauled husks and drones and a rusted probe from the last century. They had cut apart wrecks in heat and in sleet. They had stories that started with no warning and ended with duct tape and sweat. But they had never pulled a living ship, a ship that breathed. A ship that answered back out across the scrub. The alien craft lay like a smooth silver seed. Long and gentle, the hull shimmered and pulsed in slow waves. As if it had a heartbeat, Lily held the line and felt it hum through her gloves. Megan checked the scanner that was older than she was. Claire kept her eyes on the sky for dust and lightning. Nora kept her small med kit close. Because you never know, the ramp opened without a sound. Air washed over them, cool and bright. It smelled like rain and mint and a little like iron. The light inside was blue and tender, not sharp like clinic light. And in that blue stood a tall figure in a dress that looked like water. Her skin was the soft gray of creek stones. Her hair fell like a night stream. Her eyes were wide and full of steady light. She stepped forward with open hands and a voice like wind in pine. "Relax," she said, "relax. You are safe here. You are not harmed. I am a nurse. I am here to care for you. I will make sure you are well." Lily lifted her chin and nodded, and the team followed the nurse up the slope of the ramp. The floor was a living thing, warm and springy, a little like the bark of a young tree. There were no corners, only soft curves, no sharp edges. Only a Shurenche nurse moved with calm grace. She gave her name in sounds that slid like water over stones. The team tried to repeat it and stumbled. The nurse laughed, not unkind, and said, "Call me Lena. Lena will do it. It is simple." "It is fine." Nora kept a hand near her medkit out of habit. Claire studied the walls and the quiet machines that hung like fruit. Megan mapped exits. Lily watched the nurse. Noticed the calm eyes, the clean voice, the way every word meant patience, but also meant control. The way some doctors spoke when they were sure they knew best. Lena led them to a chamber full of soft light and clean air. Beds like petals opened with a sigh. "Relax," Lena said again. "You are under strain. Your pulse is fast, your breath is thin. This place will rest you. Lie back," she said. "This ship is a clinic. We come to heal. We found you by chance. You may sleep. And I will check you." Lily sat on the edge of a pedal bed and kept her boots on. Megan stood, arms folded. Claire touched a console and looked at the data that came up in symbols like leaves. Nora stood close to Lily, because Lily never said it. But she was the one who carried more than she let. Lena moved to Lily with a gentle smile. "Relax," she said, and her hands moved with ritual care. Over the shoulders, down the arms, the way a professional checks muscles and joints, the way a trainer checks for strain. Lily let herself breathe. The ship sighed with her. The lights dimmed a little like a sunset. Lena moved lower, her hands hovering near the belt, near the hips, not cruel, not crass, but with a purpose that was not explained. Lily felt the hair lift on her arms. A small cold slid along her spine. A sense that a rule was being bent without consent. Lee set her hand on Lena's wrist. Steady, firm, not angry, just a line drawn in soft sand. "I do not want that," she said. "I choose what is done to my body. I choose what is checked and when. I need you to ask. And I need to say yes, or we stop." That is the rule. Lena paused, eyes deep and unreadable. For a breath there was only the hum of the living ship. Megan shifted, ready to move. Claire lifted her head from the console. Nora stepped closer. And in that small ring of space, a quiet truth settled. Human hands made the rule. Human hearts enforced it, no matter the room. No matter the star. Lena bowed her head. A slow bend, the ship brightened by a shade. "You are right," she said. "Your will is yours. I will ask. And I will accept your answer. I did not mean harm. But I see that I did not ask. Thank you for telling me you are safe." and I will do no more than you a loathe tension unwound an inch. Lily nodded. The team let out small breaths, and the ship seemed to breathe with them. The beds folded slightly like flowers in wind. Claire looked at the leaf symbols again and saw shapes in the data. Shapes that meant a pattern under the calm. Small spikes, not in the team but in the ship. A rhythm like pain. She pointed with 2 fingers and spoke low. The ship is sick, she said. The clinic is the patient. Not the other way around. It needs help. I looked at the symbols and her face changed. A flicker of worry rippled like a shadow underwater. She moved to a panel and touched it with care. The lights shifted from blue to green to a faint trembling white. She closed her eyes and listened, then opened them with a slow dread. Yes, she said. Yes, the ship is hurt. It has been hurt for days. We lost our crew in a storm in the upper air. I am alone. I have kept the ship breathing. But it is failing. The core is tired. The veins are clogged with dust. The guidance is confused. I have done what I can. But I am one. Megan stepped forward with shoulders back and eyes bright. Okay, she said. This we can do. We fix what breaks. That is our work. That is our pride. Tell us where it hurts. Lena looked at them with a kind of hope that made her seem very young and very old at once. You would help, she said. You came here for salvage, for parts, for profit, and you would help instead. Lee stood. At ease now, but focused. We help first, she said. Afterward we see about the toe. If there is one, show us the core, show us the veins. And we will see what 4 steady hands and 4 quick minds can do. Lena led them deeper into the ship. Halls like riverbeds, doors that opened like eyelids, colors that changed with every room. They passed a garden that grew in the walls, small leaves like silver coins, tiny berries that smelled like salt and honey. Nora smiled in spite of the crisis. Beauty matters even when things break, she said. Maybe more when they dothy reach the core. A quiet heart wrapped in layers of living metal and soft cables that pulsed like breath. But the pulse was broken. A hitch, a cough, a stumble. Dust had crept into channels, a fine powder like ash. Desert grit dragged in by the storm. Megan knelt and whistled low. Wow, she said. This is not like any engine I have seen, but I can hear it. It speaks. It asks for clean hands. Laylee set the team to work. Claire mapped the currents of the ship and found the clogged lines. Nora prepared a gentle wash from the ship-owned stores, a solvent that did not harm living systems. Megan took apart a panel with a touch like prayer, screws set in a pattern on her sleeve so none were lost. Lily listened for change, called out cadence. Steady, slow, breathe in, breathe out. Like fixing a heart under an open sky. Lena watched with a quiet awe that grew minute by minute. She had skills, she had years, but this was a crew that moved like a single body. Each woman saw what the others needed before they asked. Each woman gave what she had with no delay. Human hands, human minds, human stubborn grace. There was a kind of fierce beauty in Ethan. The ship shuddered. A deeper tremor, and the garden behind them dropped a ripple of leaves. The core cough got worse. Claire swore under her breath in a way that sounded like a prayer. Nora steadied the wash and adjusted the mix by scent and swirl. Megan traced a fault to a junction that looked grown rather than made. Lily pressed her palm flat to the core casing and felt a fast stutter. Like Farrah Lee closed her eyes and spoke as if to a skittish horse. Easy, she said. Easy. We are here. We are helping. You are not alone. Listen to our rhythm. Take it in. Match it. And she tapped a steady beat with her fingers. Soft and slow, in time with her breath, the team matched her. 4 sets of fingers on 4 parts of the heart. A small human drum in the Quidalina felt the change. The ship listened. The pulse lost a little of its panic. Enough for Megan to clear the junction, enough for Claire to reroute a stream around a clot, enough for Nora to flush a channel clean. Enough for Lily to find the last tightness and hold it until it let go. The core took a long breath. The white light warmed to green. The tremor eased. The garden leaves stilled. The hull let out a sound like a cat settling into sleep. Anna put a hand to her mouth and then to her chest. "Thank you," she said, and her voice broke with a small, bright joy. Thank you, you saved it. You saved us." Bothely smiled with tired eyes. "That is what we do," she said. "People like us. We fix what we find. We set what is broken back to true. We do it with wire and grit and a stubborn heart. And we keep our rules while we do." Elena looked at Lily with a soft wonder and a careful thought. "About the rule," she said, "may I ask now if I may complete the exam I began? I will not touch where I should not. I will only do what you agree, and if you say stop—" I stoppedly held the nurse gaze and weighed the room. The ship was calm. Her crew was near. The air was warm. Trust was a fragile bird. But it had to be fed, she nodded once, clear and steady. "You may conduct the exam, but keep it to what is needed for health and safety. And nothing more, and narrate each step so I understand. And I can say yes or no, and you accept it." Lena bowed her head again. Grateful, she began with the shoulders. Gentle checks for strain. She described each motion in calm words. She moved to the arms, to the back,